So you've probably figured out I'm back into the Hive. Am I here to stay forever? Most definitely not. I'll probably spend a month or two here before I get really bored and stay away from it again, but for the time that we are having fun here, I want to bring you guys some videos. Yesterday, we had talked about Bed Wars being a really good thing for the Hive as a whole, but I want to direct your attention towards a game that doesn't get that same respect. A game that is forgotten and just not appreciated enough. I want to direct your attention to The Bridge. Since I am defending the case of something, I want to be a little bit more analytical compared to what I was in the last video, so I'm going to organize this better. Let's start with what made the bridge so forgettable. Answering this question won't prove hard at all. June 3rd, 2022 comes around and the arcade is added to the Hive. With it comes 4 minigames. 2 of which are just LTMs that are now permanent, and the other 2 are brand new, never heard of, never seen before in the Hive. On paper, this is amazing. 4 different mini games given to us on the exact same day. Your dopamine is probably going through the roof. But the bridge gets overshadowed. Why? Because now it's competing for attention against 3 other mini games, all in the same day. Bridge had to compete with other games right from the onset, and that alone could have sabotaged its chances of becoming one of the greats. We haven't even touched upon gameplay yet, so let's do that next. Keep in mind this is coming from the perspective of somebody who plays exclusively duos on Bridge. I'm just gonna say this now, you don't play solo, I don't play solo, nobody gives a shit about solo, we're not talking about it. The Bridge is the most straightforward game on the Hive. You don't need text to figure out how it works. You load into the bridge, you spawn in, the first 2 seconds it's all gonna make sense to you. You may not know what's on the other side of that bridge, but you know you gotta cross it, that's what your sword tells you. That's as simple as Bridge gets. A 4 or 5-year-old could understand the concept of this in 1 or 2 games. It's as simple as pick your kit, spawn in, try to get to the other side, fight along the way, jump into the goal, and you become closer to winning the game. Pretty simple. Now executing that may not come as easy, but the point is, you know what to do. Because of how easy it is to understand, I'd recommend this game to any new players on the Hive to start off with. Even if PvPing may not be easy, it does a good job of communicating that PvP will be a big part of your Hive experience, and it conveys it in a very simple to understand way. Now, due to the nature of Hive's PvP, a lot of people will say that any players who are beginners, amateurs, that level of skill will get mopped the floor with in games like this. And you know what? That holds somewhat true. I'm okay with letting people do that because there is tools that we are given from the onset of every game that allows us to at least learn how to counter those PvP players. Using a snowball to break a combo, leaping to avoid PvP altogether. Golden apples if you're a complete utter moron. I can appreciate that Bridge gives the lesser players a chance to use these items so seamlessly. Obviously, it won't help the lesser skilled players to get better at PvP, but it provides them with an experience they can enjoy. Not only is the Bridge good towards the casual players who may not have a good chance against the harder to beat players, but it's also good for exclusively the intermediate and advanced players. Does anybody ever play the Bridge just to practice a little bit, get off some of that rust? Because if you don't, I'd recommend it. I think the Bridge is one of the best games for getting some of that rust off if you haven't played Hive in a while, or maybe you're just having a bad day where you're not doing as well as you would have hoped. That's the Bridge for you. It's a super quick to play game. It takes 3 minutes usually, sometimes 6, sometimes 30 seconds. It all depends on how difficult your match is, but the point is, just come here to practice. If you can't appreciate it for the game itself, at least appreciate that it's such a straightforward way to get your groove back on. I'm max level, and usually when I'm max leveling something, I'm not incentivized to play it at all. Death Run and Block Drop and games like that are proof of that, but with the Bridge, it's a healthy game to come back to every once in a while, even without much incentive, because it just helps me get a little better when I'm having those bad days. And so, I would be inclined to say that the Bridge has a little something for everybody, even if not from the gameplay itself, but for more so what it represents and what it can do for you in other areas of the Hive. To put it simply, Bridge is underrated and underappreciated. One day, maybe we'll change that.